Okay. Welcome, everyone, and welcome to the Purple Couch,
Slash chair.
Reminded at a Distance. Thank you for joining us tonight. We have a good conversation to talk about tonight. But first off, I would like to say, go check out the contest winner for the Herren Project stickers, Herren Project Club stickers. Go start checking out Eric's monthly webinar series for Herren Project Clubs.
Yeah, it was actually, sorry to interrupt, but it was this past Saturday. No, sorry, not Saturday. When was it? No,
Thursday.
This past Thursday. Yes,
Last Thursday, yeah.
First Thursday. Yes, and actually we're thinking about maybe making it public.
Do it.
Yes. So we were thinking about possibly making the next one public. We're gonna see about that. But it was a great one on decision making and 3 decisions you can make to have more opportunity come in your life. You know, to grow as a person. So it was awesome. It was great. I'm looking forward to the next one.
Great. So yeah, definitely make sure to keep an eye out for that. And go check out to see our newest youth ambassador board, and just follow our social media so you can stay up to date on what's going on, and also sign up to be a part of the youth engagement newsletter. It's a monthly newsletter where you can just kind of get updates on what's going on the youth engagement side with the Purple Couch series, Herren Project clubs, youth ambassadors, leadership opportunities, and the Youth Inspire Conference of 2022. So, boom bang. Great. So this week, Eric and I decided to talk about, in light of a couple different things, not only is it National Bullying Prevention Month, but there's also kind of a lot going on regarding healthy school environments. And we wanted to kind of talk and touch base on that we need to continue to advocate for safe and healthy school environments. I'm sure people have saw the news, so I'm not going to get too into it. But not only that, we have been not offline, but we have not been fully in person like most of us are right now. And the last month we're all kind of getting back into the groove of it. But now we need to continue to make sure that we do and we are implementing, and we're advocating for safe and healthy environments that are violence free, that's toxic, that's free of toxic to our mental health and well-being, but are also as well physically healthy for us. And yeah, so Eric, do you want to say anything?
Yeah, I mean, you touched on for the past all of last year basically, and probably the last few months of the school year before we were online. And so, as we talked about before we hopped on here, there are people that definitely probably not, you could say, had their guard up, but I guess a better word to use is being more aware of their surroundings and what's going on and stuff. I mean, right now people it may be easier for them for some things to just slip by them. Maybe they say it's not that big of a deal, or they overlook things, right? Like, for example, somebody getting bullied, right? Because this is National Bully Month, and
Bullying Prevention Month.
Bullying Prevention Month, and so not overlooking that. So it's just as you had said, yes, the big thing is that now we're in a different environment, right? In the sense of now that we're in class, we're in school full time. So to just definitely be more aware of the surroundings and to do what you can to encourage to have a healthy environment around you. Because, as many people know, a healthy environment, right? The environment you're in affects you. So if it's a healthy environment, then you're going to feel good and it's going to be positive. But if you have that negative environment, then it's really going to affect you negatively.
I really like that you brought up the concept of how various environments can influence and impact us. So if we're in a healthy and positive environment, we're going to maybe do much better at what we're doing. But if we're in a negative kind of toxic environment, let's say lots of violence, fights, it happens, bullying, lack of support system in the school, then we might not be doing as our best. And how can we continue to expand access to safe education? We talk about educational equity, but what about safe education, and the environment that is free of violence, that is healthy for us, that healthy for us mentally and physically, and is providing us with the best opportunities, a support system if something is going wrong, and is all around really good for us and will positively influence us on our educational outcomes.
Yeah, and I think it's that what I just love that you brought up is, and I want to double down on this, is we talk about physical activity, yes, right, but the mental aspect of it, right? It's you talk about the importance of environment. You may not even know it until it started affecting you mentally, how it is affecting you, right? I mean, you may just be all of a sudden you have this shift, whether it's negative or positive, in the environment you're in, and then when it has really started to affect you, you may not notice it, right? And so it's that important that we're just aware of the surroundings and what is going on around us, especially mentally, because I think that is something that's overlooked a lot of times, is the mental aspect of it. Not to say that we can't still do a better job of the physical aspect, but just how the environment and things around us affect us mentally. It's really important, and I think that it shouldn't be overlooked. A lot of the times, like, it does get overlooked.
Mhm. And I think, like, to kind of follow up on that is like, so what can you do? Like, we're in a really weird time right now where people are wearing masks. People are worried a lot about like your health. Um, but again, your health includes your mental health. And now that people are getting back into school, there's going to be a lot of things that are coming up that we kind of forget, are like, oh, geez, like I forget that this is happening, or like, oh my goodness, like I forgot that this is actually a problem in our school. And now that I've been out of school for the last year, it's going to be like kind of like a tough adjustment to bring back into. So again, like let's maybe talk about what you can do. So one, like Eric had said, sometimes we maybe tend to overlook things. Um, if we don't want to leave it, well, let me back up for a minute. Sometimes there's going to be really hard conversations that we have to have, and it's not always going to feel easy, whether it's bringing up the fact that are your friend is experiencing a really tough time when they're coping it with substance use, or if you saw someone getting bullied and you didn't intervene, and you now want to make sure that it is followed up and that the person is safe, so you bring it to like administration, um, or other different things that are going. You see something on social media and you think that the school administration should know about it, or even the fact that maybe the classroom dynamics aren't exactly really healthy. So I guess essentially, like, those are some hard conversations to have, but what can you do? Um, One, I think first is maybe recognizing that something is happening that it shouldn't. And, it could be impacting more than one person's educational outcomes, and how they are doing in school. And again, like Eric said, you want a positive and healthy environment to be able to do your best in school. And you want an environment where you can be yourself, where you don't feel like you have to use substances to alter yourself, or use them to cope with negative situations. So again, how can we make sure that that environment is maintained and you don't have to, go through extreme hardships in the schools? So one, you could recognize that it's happening, which can be sometimes hard, but and sometimes we may not do anything in the moment, but it's about how we follow up that matters.
Mm.
Eric, do you want to add anything like to those
Well,
steps?
after, okay, so let me, I can build off that for a second. And in the sense of, like you said, seeing something that's happened or is happening, and maybe you don't act on it in the moment, but yes, to have those tough conversations, to, a lot of the times, to really just take a step back and really think to yourself, okay, so let's say you've seen someone getting bullied, or you're seeing someone who may be struggling or something, and you say to yourself, you take the step back, and I really think it's important to say to yourself, okay, so taking action on this, like, how is this going to impact that person, right? How is it going to help? This conversation may be hard. It may be hard for me to actually approach somebody and talk to them about this, but at the end of the day, how is this going to impact? I'll go back to what we've been talking about, the environment, but also how is it going to impact that person, right? And
That's a
obviously,
really good point, and I don't mean to interrupt, but it's always good that when you do recognize something like that happening, talk to the person. Hey, I just saw what was happening. I'm so sorry, but I do want to make sure you're okay. And if you want someone to go with you to talk about this, to get help, to, discuss what's happening and, like, make sure this doesn't happen again, like, I will totally be that advocate alongside you.
Yeah,
Because that's really important as well. Because again, like, you want to make sure that, you know, how is this going to impact the person, essentially?
yeah. Well, because right, and again, obviously that person being impacted, however they are, if it's really negative, then that's going to affect the environment, right? So like everybody's experience in the school is going to
It's going
kind
to
of
be different.
impact. What's that?
It's going to be different, and it's going to impact things differently.
Exactly. Exactly. So, at that moment, maybe what they experience is negative, but in you doing something about it can help them to almost, I don't want to say shift that experience because obviously it was a negative experience, but to help them get through it.
Yes, because they don't feel like they're alone. And they
Bingo.
actually feel like
Bingo.
they have maybe, like, a little bit of a support system,
Yes.
because who wants to go through that alone? Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
but to know that there are people that will stand beside them as they work through this will shift their perspective and their environment even more.
Yeah. And I mean, come on, who doesn't? I know for me too, if I've gone through something or I go through something, somebody just going up to you, as you said, and just saying, "Are you okay? Are you all right?" And you may just say, "No, I'm fine," but inside, that makes you feel good that someone just approached you and did that, right?
Mhm.
Even if you don't go and talk to somebody with them because they approach you, just having someone come up and approach you and say it just makes you feel good inside. Like, wow, like that person didn't have to do that and they did.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree. Um, and I think on top of that, like, make sure you do get a trusted adult involved. Whether that be your parents to ensure, like, hey, mom and dad, or hey, parents, or hey, to your parental guardian, whoever is like your parental guardian at the time. Um, like, this is what's been going on. Like, how can I, get support on, you know, making sure this doesn't happen. And it's even harder for, like, younger kids because sometimes it might be undermined. And we need to continue to leverage young voices because, again, this is their environment that they're living in. And I think that we can all play a part in ensuring that our each other's voices are leveraged to ensure that, yeah, we do get change and that we do continue to advocate for safe environments on educational campuses. Um, because that's really important to ensure that every child has access to safe and equitable education at the end of the day, because that also comes down to the mental health of students, and potentially being subjected to coping poorly with the situations at school. A lot of things tie back into the mental health at the end of the day and will potentially increase people's more risk to start using substances.
Yeah.
Um, some may say, "Oh, is you're kind of stretching it," but really I'm not, because there is data to back it up that if students do not have a good support system within their educational system, they might be subjected to coping poorly, and sometimes a lot of that is through substances.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a perfect example is that scenario we just brought up, right? So let's say, for example, somebody does get bullied or someone's being picked on, and you see it, you don't say anything. Well, they may cope with that by using substances, but you making that decision to actually go over there and how are you doing, check up on them, might actually help them to, okay, you want to know something? Somebody does care. There are people out there that do care. And so instead of making that choice to maybe go use substances, I'm going to go talk to someone about it. Because if he or she cares, there are other people out there that care. So right there, that decision, you talking to them, even if it doesn't lead to anything, can actually maybe help them to lead to not doing something.
That's harming themselves,
Exactly.
whether that's physical or mental or any harm to the person itself. You really can make a difference in someone's life by simply making that one act of kindness. But essentially, what we want to come out of this is to empower you to be agents of change. And again, those moments of change can be really small because they don't have to be these huge things that are going to make, like, this wave. Like, sometimes the littlest things and the littlest action steps can be a precursor to big moments of change. And that's what we want to empower you to do, because simply going over and being like, hey, is everything okay, might go a long way for someone and really, really begin to advocate for a better environment. And that's really important, because I know there's tons and tons of students who are really, really passionate about campus safety and school ground safety, when it comes to a variety of things: gun violence, substance use, just general violence, when it comes to, say, physical fights, bullying, drug use, all of that stuff. And we need to continue to get back on that path and advocate for it, because again, we've been maybe a little out of touch with that, and we have to make sure that we are remembering ourselves, and that we do need, and we all deserve to be in a safe environment regarding education.
Agreed.
Well, I think that's all we have to say tonight, everyone. If you have any additional comments, put it in the box below, the comment box. Look at my nails.
Was that black? Are they black?
No, they are actually like this iridescent. They are black, but they iridescent. Thanks. Back to the point. Put additional comments and thoughts in the box. Subscribe, share the video, like the video.
Yes.
Love it up.
Yes.
And be you, keep being an agent of change. You're amazing. Support, inspire, empower. And we will see you in 2 weeks. That's 2 weeks. Bye.
Bye.